Through an affiliation with the National Rural Water Association and the Pennsylvania Rural Water Association, your local water utility now has the opportunity to participate in the TowerLink America program at no expense or financial risk. Consider what is happening in Oklahoma and across the country and decide what is best for your water utility. The following information about TowerLink America is presented by Clem McSpadden. Clem is a great-nephew of Will Rogers and was born and raised on the same ranch. He is a former Oklahoma State Senator and a U.S. Congressman. He is probably best known throughout the country as a rodeo announcer, announcing rodeos in 40 states, Canada, and Mexico. Clem has also been inducted into the Oklahoma Hall of Fame and the National Cowboy Hall of Fame and Western Heritage Center.
Hello, I'm Clem McSpadden, and a few years ago in the Oklahoma State Senate, I was lucky enough to be the Senate author of the original bill that created Oklahoma's rural water systems. This tower, located in Allowee, Oklahoma, was built in the early 1960s and became Rural Water District Number 1. I guess I was in the right place at the right time to be involved in something that has truly been beneficial and vital to all of rural Oklahoma. Now, more than 30 years later, you as board members of your local organization have the opportunity to bring new revenue into your outfit, and you don't have to spend any money or take any financial risk. Each of you are in the right place at the right time to not only benefit your water district or corporation financially, but to also help bring advanced telecommunication services to the rural areas where you live and work, as well as the entire country. In recent years, there's been tremendous changes and growth in the telecommunications industry that involves television, radio, cellular telephones, and wireless internet, which at first required tall and expensive towers to be built all across the country. As technology has improved, the height requirements of these towers has decreased. So it's now possible to place equipment such as antennas and satellite dishes on top of buildings or other structures that are only 50 to 100 feet tall. The demand for these towers has increased greatly because of strong competition between carriers to build the infrastructure that's necessary to provide telecommunication services to not only metropolitan areas and interstate highways that connect them, but also the rural areas all across the country. Technology has now reached a point that without interfering with the primary use of water storage, rural water towers are in the right place at the right time, and they can be used as platforms for these urgently needed antennas and satellite dishes. Now, before you rush out and try to negotiate a contract with a communications company to use one of your towers, think about this. Do you know anything about the communication tower business? Do you know what a fair price to charge would be, or even what your site is worth to these companies? Do you have access to, or can you afford to hire the legal expertise to draw up a contract that's fair? By bargaining collectively, the amount of money, the bottom line that you could receive could be 2 or 3 times more than trying to bargain on an individual basis. So who would do the negotiating with the communication companies? TowerLink America has the experience and expertise in all phases of the telecommunications tower business to represent America's water utilities.
Frankly, we've known of leases at $75 per month negotiated by local water companies, which should have been $2,000, $2,500 per month.
TowerLink America is a new company, but owners Mike and John McGuire have been in the communications equipment and tower business since its beginnings, and they've got the necessary knowledge and expertise to negotiate with AT&T, Sprint, or other major carriers, as well as the growing number of independents.
Matt McGuire and John McGuire bring so much expertise and experience in the tower industry to TowerLink. John has been dealing with it on a daily basis for 8 years. He knows the numbers inside and out. He knows the representatives of the large companies. In addition, Mac McGuire just brings so much financial strength. He has served on the boards of directors of the Fidelity Bank, the Liberty Bank, First Interstate, Boatman's. He's also was the first chairman of the Oklahoma Ethics Commission.
TowerLink America knows what it would have cost the communications company to build its own tower and the delays in doing so, and will have a good idea what income the company will be receiving and what it can afford to pay.
They will spend to build a new tower. Carrier goes out, they have their site acquisition people find a site, they got $15,000 in it. They do the zoning, the survey, the engineering, and the drawings. They've got another $20,000 in that site. They actually build the site, put the tower up, and $200,000. They will have anywhere from $250,000 to $300,000 in one site before they ever put any equipment, antennas, or anything else on it. They don't have to spend the site acquisition fee. They don't have to do the survey. They don't have to do the engineering. All they have to do is sign a lease approved by the local water district, come in and install their equipment, and they are immediately on the air. Not only does it save them the money, $200,000, $250,000, it also saves them 120 days, 180 days of time that they would have to develop this site to meet their needs and then install the equipment.
TowerLink will assume all the risks, and they'll structure the agreement with the telecommunication company on a strictly contingent fee basis. And that means that they don't get any money if your water company doesn't get money. The legal documents and negotiations are being handled by co-owner Dan Little, who has represented the Marshall County Water Corporation in Medill for more than 30 years. Dan's a man who understands the needs and the concerns of rural water districts.
The TowerLink contract with the local company is very simple, very direct, and very straightforward. It has been set up so that all percentages are based upon the gross receipts. There are no deductions for any type of expenses, which eliminates all kinds of potential problems down the road.
The distribution of dollars paid by the communications companies would be as follows. 63% of every dollar paid would go to the individual water utility owning and furnishing the tank. 2.5% would go to the Pennsylvania Rural Water Association. 1.5% would go to the National Rural Water Association, and the remaining 33% would go to TowerLink America. They would have the duty and the sole responsibility for negotiating with the communications companies and paying any and all expenses relating to negotiations.
In addition to handling the negotiations, TowerLink will continue to work for the local water company in collecting the rentals, handling any problems, and making certain that the deal works. Further, our contract has very specific provisions that will make the communications company responsible for any damages. It also provides strong insurance protection, release, and indemnity provisions.
The distributions will be made on a monthly basis based upon gross receipts, and TowerLink America will furnish full and complete accountings to both the individual water companies and the State Rural Water Association.
Time really is important. I mean, every month millions of dollars are being spent. Within the next 5 years, it's projected that there will be 100,000 new towers built. With the carriers being able to negotiate with TowerLink America, which is one-stop shopping, which they really like, instead of having to negotiate with literally thousands of individual boards, many more water towers will be leased by the carriers, which will mean much more money for the water utilities.
Nobody really wants a tower anywhere around them right now. There's no reason for that. They just see them as eyesores. TowerLink is bringing together with the rural water districts existing locations for these sites to go on.
So there you have it. By partnering with TowerLink America, the state association, and your water utility would unite to provide a brand new source of income from the incredibly rich and fast-growing communications industry. Revenue that will keep you from having to raise water rates and to pay your employees much more competitive salaries and wages they deserve. Think about it. The only thing worse than not being in the right place at the right time is failing to take advantage of the situation when you are.
TowerLink America is ready to start working for you in Pennsylvania. The more water utilities that sign up, the greater the bargaining leverage will be.